Hello and welcome back, everyone. Scootsy16 here with another video for the Elite Discord tournament, and we have completed round one. All four teams have decided or have been decided for who's going to advance. Let's go ahead and take a look at the recap of round one before we get into some stats and review how these teams did individually, and then we will also take a look at some top individual performances in game. So we'll take a look at all of this information today, just kind of a one-off video before we get started in round two. So taking a look at top left, we'll see that the Thumpers managed to sweep the Overdogs in 3 games. Really had the offense come out and show up in that series, and they're going to have to put that effort forward and continue going, as they will have to face off against the Prowl, who managed to win in 4 games against the Arctics. It was a very interesting series, a lot of great pitching performances back and forth from both sides, but in the end, the Prowl were able to move forward. So we're going to get to see some really fun matchups between two amazing pitchers to get this series started. Bruce Wishwash, the only S tier player in this tournament, and going up against is Rose Smile. Rose had a really great first outing against the Arctics, and so she's going to have her work cut out for her against that Thumpers offense. So we'll be excited to see how that one plays out. On the right hand side of the tournament here, the Lockhorns managed to fend off the Dirt Dogs. This was a outright slobber knocker between these two teams, just punches and bunches as they were going back and forth. Lots of lead changes throughout this tournament, but in the end, the Lockhorns managed to take it in 4 games, and they get to advance to face the Buzzwings. The Buzzwings, the team that I drafted, went up against the AI drafted team, and we ended up managing to force a game 5. We lost the first game, won the second, and then we lost the third. So we had to come back and win the fourth and fifth game, in which we were able to do, and we were able to move forward. So this will be a really interesting series between these 4 ball clubs, and this will determine who moves forward into the finals to see who gets crowned the first Elite Discord tournament champion. So before we get into round two, I just wanted to take some time to go over some league leaders, look at some team individual stats, and then review something fun I've put together for all of you to show you the top individual performances in game. So let's go ahead and start with the league leaders. I don't know if any of you had any guesses who you thought would be number one in the league leaders category, but let's go ahead and take a look right now. Number one is Werner Daniel, the relief pitcher for the Arctics. He had himself an amazing series. He did make quite a few appearances, surprisingly, but he never allowed a run. Pitching 12 strikeouts in 7 1/3 innings, and he also got a save. So he had a phenomenal series. Next, you'll see Liam Undermeyer, the captain for the Buzzwings, and he just could not stop. No one could stop him. He went 688 average, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 4 stolen bases. He really did everything. He was also making some amazing plays in the outfield too. Very fun to watch, and definitely made me feel good knowing that I drafted him as our starter or as our captain for this team. Next, you'll see for the Lockhorns that Stella Maynard managed to get the number 3 spot with her really amazing start. She had a complete game, 3 Ks, barely any base runners, and she did not allow a run. She had an amazing outing for the Lockhorns in her appearance. In the 4th spot, Rose Smile. Rose had a really great outing as well. She only pitched 5 2/3 innings, so she almost went to the complete game. She managed to get 7 strikeouts, did not allow a run either. Now, in the 5 and 6 spots, you'll see Mila Levy and Warden Wang. I would like to put an asterisk next to both of them because they both got 2 starts. So they had more innings, they had more of a chance to improve their stats. However, some may not say that that's an advantage when you look at how much competition is in this league. This may be a disadvantage if you're going into multiple outings and still finding success. That must mean you know what you're doing. And so Mila Levy with a 2.89 ERA, a .86 WHIP, nine and a third innings, and she got six strikeouts. So she had a really, really great two appearances, her both of the times out, and she ended up winning her second appearance. Or I don't know if she got the win, but she ended up um, leading the team to victory in Game Five of the first series that the Buzzwings played. Warden Wing, on the other hand, he ended up getting a complete game. Ironically, it counts as a complete game when you are walked off and you don't even go the full six innings. He had 10 strikeouts in his two appearances, nine and two-thirds innings, so he did pretty well, but not nearly as good as Mila. In the seventh spot is Dirt Dogs outfielder Count Fellows, who went 571, had two home runs, two RBIs, and a walk. He definitely performed really well, and he was definitely not the reason the Dirt Dogs did not win that series. He did everything he could. Eight is Jillian Fisher. Jillian, another Buzzwing. Happy to see her on the list here. She actually had her first three at bats become home runs, but all of them were solo shots. And she started off really hot. She started to slow down towards the end, but still managed to hit 429, three home runs, four RBIs, and a walk. So she's doing really well. Hopefully, she can get back on that hot streak in the next series against the Lockhorns, which they'll be facing off using J.R. Vang. The outfielder went 500, two home runs, six RBIs, had a really hot series against the Dirt Dogs, and he definitely helped push them across the finish line to victory. And then the 10th spot, I'm surprised to see only one thumper on the list, but here he is. Les Ventura, definitely a guy deserving of it. He had an amazing start outing with four and one thirds innings pitched with eight strikeouts. He did not allow a run, just absolutely dominant performance against the Overdogs in game two of their series. So Les Ventura is the 10th in the top 10. Now, just to make sure that this video does not go too long, I'm just going to kind of cruise through some of these stats to show you where some of these players rank across the Elite Discord tournament. So you take a look at batting average and you see Liam Undermeyer with a 688 batting average. Tiana Witness, the only other player above 600 at 636. See home runs, two players hit three home runs. That's Liam and Jillian Fisher, both of the Buzzwings. And for RBIs, you see Jada McCarthy, who was just an absolute beast for the Prowl in that game against the Arctics, and she just could not be stopped behind the plate. She got 7 RBIs. Caleb Thompson, J.R. Vang, Liam Undermeyer, all with 6 RBIs in this first round. Going to the next section here, you see on-base slugging and then on-base plus slugging, and Liam Undermeyer sweeps all three of these categories, leading all of them. Just absolutely dominant performance for him. I'm just kind of gushing a little bit here as I was so happy to see him do so well as the captain. He also led the league in hits with 11, far and away above anybody else. Count Fellows with 8, and then you see a few players with 7. Looking at extra base hits, Liam and Jillian both had 3, and they were both home runs. See Count Fellows, Jada McCarthy with 3 as well, but J.R. Vang led the league with 4 extra base hits, 2 of them being homers, and I believe the other 2 were doubles. Unfortunately, in the strikeout category, the Buzzwings lead this one as well. 8 strikeouts for Keegan Howell, so he had a very rough series, but hopefully he can reset a little bit and come back fresh and strong against the Lockhorns in the next series. For runs scored, Count Fellows led the league here, 6 runs scored, a handful of other players with 4, and then a bunch more in the 3. Stolen bases, another one that Liam Undermeyer is leading with 4. The next closest is Jamie Morris and Skylar Lynch and Furtive Wood, all with 2. Interesting to point out here, the Buzzwings had 3 different players with at least 1 stolen base, a total of 7 stolen bases across the Buzzwings team, far and away above anybody else. I think that had more to do with Wyatt Chang's weak arm behind the plate. However, he still managed to catch Liam Undermeyer stealing twice and Keegan Howell stealing once. So he wasn't completely terrible behind the plate, but definitely part of the reason why the Sewer Sneaks lost that series. Shifting over to pitching. Some impressive appearances here on the pitching side of things. James Elliott, the reliever, as well as Class Thicket, the reliever, both get 2 wins, leading the league. Then look at that earned run average list. There are 7 players that had not allowed an earned run in their appearance or appearances. Just absolutely dominate from all of these pitchers, which is really crazy to see when you know how good these offensive players are. For saves, you see Dean Boyd, the Prowl reliever, led the league with 2 saves so far in the first round. So he kind of came in the right spots and held down that Arctic's offense. Moving into the next one, you see Michelle Cordova. Absolutely dominant performance from her. The reliever for the Prowl did not allow any hits, any walks, and so she has a 0.00 whip and a 0.000 batting average. Werner Daniel, the next one in the line for both of those, a .27 whip and a .087 opponent's batting average. He also led the league in strikeouts with 12. Just behind him is Warden Wang from the Sewer Sneaks, who had 10 in his 2 appearances. So Werner, absolute dominance from him. And unfortunately, we will not get to see him do any more of that in this series as his time is done. Interesting in this line here, walks per 9 innings. Look at how many pitchers, at least 10 pitchers in this tournament came in and did not allow a walk. So some really interesting numbers here. Hopefully you got to see what you were looking for. I don't know if anyone had predicted that Warner Daniel would be the number 1 on the list, but fun to see that. Next, I want to just make sure that I'm kind of keeping up and at a good pace here, but I want to show some of these teams and just look at collectively the stats from the teams so that you can see how your teams did, your favorite teams did. And I want to start with just as they were eliminated, we'll go to those teams and take a look at those stats. So starting with the Overdogs, I'm not going to go through everything here. Just wanted to make sure that it's there for you all to see it. I think something interesting to point out here. Alex Hazard, the first baseman, went 3 for 6 in his time at the plate. He did pretty well. And then Skyla Luna, the captain, just did not end up producing the way you would want your captain to produce. She went 3 for 9. She did hit a solo shot, but she also struck out 4 times. On the pitching side of things, interesting, we did not get a chance to see Dainty Tumblo, the 4th starter in the rotation. But every other pitcher got a chance to have an appearance in this one. The bad news is, with the unfortunate luck from Bale Rowe and Titus Dismal both getting hit and removed from the game earlier than they would have liked, that bullpen got overworked, and I think that was the true reason why these Overdogs got swept, but let alone getting swept, that they didn't get a chance to move forward in this tournament. So tough luck for them. We'll see them back in the next round of the tournament. Hopefully they can find themselves in a much better position. Moving on to the next team that was eliminated, unfortunately, that's the Arctics, and here you can take a look at the team stats. A couple of things I want to point out here. Tiana Witness went under the radar, but surprised at how well she did. 7 for 11. She ended up getting a double as well, but she just kind of consistently kept hitting. And I thought that we were going to see that from Genevieve Peichel. The way she started, she slowed down a little bit, still went 5 for 12. I also want to highlight Jamie Morris. He wasn't the captain, but Jamie Morris kind of played like it. He went 6 for 11. He had a solo shot. We saw that in the last game, which was just a potential chance to catch up. And unfortunately, Oakley Reddier, the true captain, while he did get 2 home runs, those were his only 2 hits of this tournament. So he really struggled more than we would have liked. On the pitching side of things for the Arctics, you see that for the most part, they did really well. I think a couple of things to note. Lincoln Morse and Riker Bennett did not get an appearance here. We won't see them in this tournament. So 2 players that the Arctics drafted in hopes to have a stronger bullpen did not get a chance to see any time. And just to kind of give you a little insight, Lincoln Morse, the long reliever, was drafted in the 16th round, has lefty specialist. And then the other person here, Riker Bennett, was drafted in the 12th round. He has an elite curveball. So interesting, we didn't get a chance to see them. Elena Griffith definitely stands out as the best pitcher of that starting rotation. as she just had an absolutely dominant performance in that game to win against the Prowl. Moving over to the Dirt Dogs, who did not make it past the Lockhorns. Count Fellows, who we saw pop up on the top leader list, had a really great series. Also, Mario Griffin, 7 for 13 with a home run, 10 total bases. He had a really great outing here. And then I think, other than that, I think a couple of things to point out here was the struggle from Cedar Nielsen. 3 for 15. He was their second pick in the draft and just did not show any of the skill that he has. And then I also want to point out Nick Everdale, who went 4 for 8, but only appeared in 2 out of the 4 games. So I don't know if that makes a difference, but he was hitting really well and just didn't get a chance to continue to keep that momentum going. If we take a look at the pitching for the Dirt Dogs, we'll see DeAndre Fleshman was the captain of this team, drafted in the first round. He went 5 innings and gave up 4 runs, which doesn't seem too terrible, but definitely not ace worthy, not captain worthy. So I feel like he would feel a little disappointed. He also gave up 2 home runs, which was kind of a trend for those starters. 3 out of the 4 starters giving up 4 home runs. For the Dirt Dogs, we'll notice that Sterling Lopside and Zane Bass, or Bass, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, did not make an appearance in this game. So, quick note on them: Sterling Lopside was the 4th overall pick for the Dirt Dogs, and he didn't get a chance to show what he can do. He has ready reverse splits, so that means that he's going to debuff those lefties. We don't get to see him show that off. And then Zane Bass was drafted in the 19th round, also has reverse splits. So interesting that both of those reverse splits pitchers didn't get a chance to show what they could do in this one. So some things to point out here, but just kind of general observations. Omari Nichols definitely struggled, and he was a 6th round pick. So kind of crazy that he got a second chance after that first outing went so poorly when you have those other 2 players that are fresh on the team. The Sewer Sneaks kind of struggled in this one. They still kept a good fight going, but they didn't. They weren't able to keep up with what the Buzzwings were able to do. So Jamie Cook, the captain, he had a decent season or his start to this series. Just couldn't really do much more than get on base, which you would think that would be enough, but when there's not many hitting behind you, it does cause a struggle. Genevieve Holloway was the last pick in this draft overall, and she absolutely showed up for the Sneaks in ways that I didn't expect her to. I think one thing we need to point out here is the struggles from Trevor Wiggins, from Linfield Harden, from Raina Barnstormer. Reeve Watts didn't get a hit. Just too many players on this in this order that just did not hit successfully, and that really makes it difficult for you to win games. When we look at their pitching staff, they held up really well. They had quite a few great performances from their pitchers and really held that Buzzwings offense at bay outside of maybe a couple of players, which we'll look at in just a little bit. 2 players here did not get a chance to appear in this series, that being Teacup Roden and Franco Pine. So, quick note on them: Teacup was drafted in the 18th round. She had the surrounded trait, so maybe they just didn't feel comfortable putting her in, especially as the Buzzwings kept getting players on base but just could not convert them. And then you'll see that Franco Pine, the closer, was drafted in the 20th round. He had wild things. So I think another time here where I just don't think they wanted to risk anything. So that's the 4 teams that were eliminated. Now we wrap around to the 4 teams that were able to move on, starting with the Thumpers. Their offense started off really hot, and I'm surprised it kind of cooled off a little bit. Now, for Vip Austin, it definitely did not, as he went 7 for 8 in his 8 at bats, and actually went 8 for 9 in his 9 plate appearances. He got a walk as well. Really great performance from him in this series. Caleb Thompson ended up only going 3 for 10, which was really interesting. He did get those 2 home runs, which was nice. Archibald Sormore with a grand slam to show up. Ginger Munster, 0 for 6. Really tough to see any success there. Britt Luna, 1 for 5. Just really unfortunate to see some of these players struggle on an offense that seemed like it was going a lot hotter than it actually was. Hopping over to their pitching staff, and we'll notice that Les Ventura, yeah, he did not give up a run in his start. Cash Callahan only gave up two, and then Bruce Wishwash, the S tier starter and the ace of this staff, the captain of this staff, was the one that gave up the most runs on this team. Mackay Botham and Arya Kelly did not get a chance to appear in this one. Mackay Botham, the starter, the fourth starter in the rotation, does not appear here. And then Arya Kelly was also not able to make an appearance. That was the 22nd pick for the Thumpers. But otherwise, their bullpen held up really well, not giving up a run at all. And just really dominant performance from that pitching staff, which I think we were seeing that offense highlight so well. And I don't think we were expecting the pitching staff to be the strength of that team. Now we head over to the Prowl, who ended up able to knock off the Arctics. And a couple of things to note here. Reese Bugby went 6 for 8. He also walked once. Just consistency up and down. He appeared in 3 out of 4 of those games, and I think he might get a little bit more playing time going forward. However, Jasper Reeves, 2 for 11, the first baseman, just mightily struggled this entire series. Jada McCarthy, I would say the captain of the offense here, she just absolutely went on a tear, and she held up this entire series. And Jasper Reeves is the true captain. He was the number 1 pick. He's going to have to absolutely turn things around to get this offense going against that Thumpers pitching staff, which is absolutely a threat. Elizabeth Nelson, the starter at second base, just did not show up in this series. I'd say Bolt Snow and Donald Frost, along with Reeves, are definitely some of the players that did not perform to their capabilities, and that's going to have to change if they want to move into the finals. And then you see for the pitching staff, Rose Smile, Blind Nolan, Jagger Jackson all had really great starts in their appearances. Raymond Meal, not so much, but he might be able to turn things around. I think he just got jumped on early and then just couldn't recover. For the pitching staff, only one player did not get a chance to make an appearance, and that's Isaac Villegas, or Villegas. Isaac was a 12th round pick, and he is a lefty specialist. 4 pitches and 95 accuracy is pretty impressive. So I don't know if he'll get a chance to make an appearance here, but they definitely may want to consider him instead of Hale Garrison or Swindle Boyle in their next outing. So that's the Prowl. And as we keep moving forward, we now head over to the Lockhorns. The Lockhorns, their offense is much more formidable than I think most of these other teams, as they had 4 players that had at least 5 hits, including Gabriel Blanchard, the second baseman, Leland Pollard, their DH, and then Ariadne Fitzpatrick and Skylar Lynch. Just so much dominance. I'm sorry, I counted wrong. 5 players. J.R. Vang also had 6 hits. J.R. Vang definitely led this team offensively, but Ariadne Fitzpatrick had a really great series. Skylar Lynch did the same. Tobias Fox, unfortunately, did not, as he struggled quite a bit. Uriel Sardi, though, struggled the most on this team, as he was not able to get a hit at all in 7 at-bats. So he really, really needs to turn things around, or they're going to have to find a different shortstop to get started in that series against the Buzzwings. Looking at their pitching staff, kind of a tale of two sides. Some of them did really well. Others did not do very well at all. Their pitchers all gave up a good amount of runs in their starts. Actually, Stella Maynard is the only pitcher that was able to go through at least 3 innings, and she pitched a complete game without allowing a run. On the rotation, or in the pitching staff, Jefferson Fleming, James Elliott, and Frieda Schmidt struggled a lot, where Guadalupe Austin and Josiah Marzo did not allow a run in their appearances. I think James Elliott got another chance to kind of settle in after a rough first start, but definitely going to be interesting to see how this staff settles in against the Buzzwings. And finishing with the Buzzwings, just want to look over that team really quick. Zeke Green struggled, but Kayla Carter, Kamari Butler, Tandy Saunders, Just a lot of zeros in that hit column for this team. Outside of Furtive Wood, who played really well in his time, Liam Undermeyer, who absolutely dominated, Jillian Fisher, and then Landon Stone late. That's not enough hits in this lineup to be successful going forward. So they might have to try and take advantage of some rocky starts from those Lockhorn pitchers, but we'll see how it all plays out in this next one. And then looking at the pitching stats, Mila Levy had a great two starts in her two appearances against the Sneaks. Montgomery Landry did okay. Alfredo Knox, I still believe that they kept him in too long and he didn't deserve that loss. And I think his ERA looks a lot better if he gets pulled earlier in game three. Godfried Shavewall, game four starter, and just came up huge for them, getting the win and only giving up one run in 5 1/3 innings. But look at this. You see Class Thicket got 3 appearances and Wuri Habibi got 1 appearance. 3 other pitchers in this bullpen did not get a chance to get out on the mound at all during a game. Just absolutely disappointing, especially when you see that some of those pitchers may have been left in a little bit longer than they should have. What is happening with that management and what they're deciding to do with this bullpen? I don't understand, but we'll see how that plays out against the Lockhorns. With all of that being said, and we just kind of broke down league leaders and individual team stats, I decided to put something fun together for all of you to show off some of the most remarkable individual performances in the first round. So let's go ahead and take a look. And here it is, folks, the top 8 performances. According to me, I evaluated the top 3 players from every game and then determined who would be the best performance from each team. So we're going to start at 8, work our way to 1. And in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see Ellie Howard from the Overdogs actually had this performance in game 1 against the Thumpers, going 2 for 3, a single, a double, and knocking in 3 runs. So let's go ahead and highlight that single that knocked in 2 runs to take the lead against the Thumpers in that first game. Wishy-washy's counter to this, so this is just already so wild. And Howard gets the best of him as that ball gets right over the third baseline, and here comes the second runner, and the Overdogs take the lead. Next, let's go to the 7th best performance on this list, Ariadne Fitzpatrick from the Lockhorns. The right fielder had a huge game 1 against the Dirt Dogs, going 2 for 3 with a single and a home run, 2 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. Let's take a look at that solo shot that she hit in the bottom of the 4th inning, which is essentially where you want to hit them to avoid any damage. And that ball is going right towards the foul line, and it hits off the foul pole for a home run. So the Lockhorns are able to keep the momentum going just a little bit on offense as Fitzpatrick puts that one down the left field line for a 373-foot home run. We now get to the number 6 performance. Warden Wang, the ace starter for the Sewer Sneaks, pitched in game 1 and in game 5. This performance was in game 5, where he gutted out 5 2/3 of a tough fight against the Buzzwings, giving up 7 hits and 1 walk, only 1 earned run, and striking out 6. Here's his chess match against Liam Undermeyer in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Take a look. Amazing speed there at first base. We'll see if Undermeyer decides he wants to try and take off or not. And he does, and he gets picked off. What a mistake from Undermeyer. Again, these captains are really trying to be the catalyst for their teams, and they're making. We continue on to number 5, Jada McCarthy of the Prowl. In Game 3, she had a huge opportunity to take the lead against the Arctics in the top of the 4th, and she took advantage. Her only hit was a 3-run homer, and this was one that was a huge difference maker in this game. Let's go ahead and take a look. Even the count 1-1. And that ball, McCarthy doesn't need the first pitch slayer as she puts that one out. And that one's going to bounce over. There's a souvenir for a fan that came to see the pirate exhibit in the background. And that ball goes 424. As we transition to the top row, we get to the number 4 performance coming from Jamie Morris of the Arctics. In game 4, they had their backs against the wall, and Jamie Morris did everything he could to keep the Arctics going 3 for 4 with 2 singles, 2 stolen bases, and a huge home run. That home run coming in the last inning in the 6th. He went back to back with Snack Frederick. Here is that solo shot. 2 outs, and you're back at the top of the order for Jamie, and Jamie follows that up with another huge hit, and that ball's going to bounce off the top of the bullpen, and that's a back-to-back shot for the Arctics, 432, and that's cold. That's cold, baby. So Jamie Morris comes up. And that brings us to the top 3 performances in the first round of the Elite Discord Tournament. We're looking at number 3 with Liam Undermeyer, the captain of the Buzzwings, in a huge Game 3 against the Sewer Sneaks in Apple Field. He went 3 for 3 with 2 singles, a stolen base, and a huge game-tying 2-run homer in the top of the 4th, giving the Buzzwings a chance to take this game. Check this one out. So with 1 out and a runner on second, here comes Undermeyer, who hits that ball hard to right field, and he pulls that one just over the fence for the home run. And the captain comes up clutch once again, a 372-foot shot just over the fence for the 2-run homer. And this game is all tied back up. And in the number 2 spot is Frank Bracketeer of the Dirt Dogs. In Game 2, the Dirt Dogs came out fighting, and Frank Bracketeer was leading the charge. He went 4 for 4 with 2 singles, a double, and a triple. 1 home run shy of the cycle. He had 3 RBIs and 1 run scored. Let's take a look at that triple that he hit in the top of the 4th to extend the lead for the Dirt Dogs in this one. And K Collector gets activated here, and Bracketeer puts a charge into that one. Deepest part of the park. It's going into right center field. It bounces away from Lynch, and Lynch gets it in, but not before Bracketeer stands up at third base with a triple. An RBI triple for Bracketeer, and it is now 6. And that brings us to the number 1 performance of this round of the Elite Discord Tournament, and it goes to Les Ventura, the number 1 pitcher here. In Game 2 against the Overdogs, had an incredible performance, going 4 1/3 innings, only allowing 3 hits and striking out 8 of the 13 outs that he got in this one. Let's go ahead and take a look at the matchup between him and Skyla Luna, the captain of the Overdogs, in the 4th inning. Now, last game, Skyla Luna was able to make the adjustment for the second at-bat against Wishwash. See if she's able to do the same against Ventura here. 2-1 count. Fights that one off, now 2-2. And she fouls that one off again. This is his 50th pitch in this outing for Ventura. And he gets another strikeout, and Luna's. And those were the top 8 performances, one from each team in the first round of the Elite Discord Tournament. Let me know which one you think deserved to be number 1. And I'd also love to hear any of your thoughts on who were your favorite players of round 1 and what were your favorite moments from round 1. Thank you all so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you as round 2 is about to get started. Bye, everyone.